Whether it's your first time here or you're a regular here at Mr. Super Oz, I just want to thank you for tuning in to the channel. It exists because I, Oz, from the channel Mr. Super Oz, I wrote a 68-page graphic novel called Everlasting Survivors. Volume 1 is called All Day Long. If you follow the link in the description of this video, you can get yourself hats, shirts, posters, all kinds of fun things. But most importantly, you can get the story itself. And the more people that pick up the story, the greater the chances are that there can be continued adventures with these heroes. If you could, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment, enjoy. Known, it just gets challenging. Yeah. Speaking of challenging, I feel like this movie, or at least personally, wasn't as challenging for me to get into as the first, and it might just be because I did watch the first and I was fully aware of what I was getting myself into, whereas the first time around, I didn't realize we were going to do so much jumping. We still do a little bit of jumping here, maybe even an equal amount of jumping, but we don't jump with the exact same character like was with the first movie, where we jump throughout with the Flash to different worlds and times. This one we mostly jump with Batman, Psycho Pirate, and Kara and Monitor, I guess?
You get a little bit of the Johns, too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, I like the Johns. I thought that was that one was definitely the lesser story they were telling.
Yeah.
But when they were around, I was like, all right, I like you folk, because I like John Stewart, just generally speaking, and John Constantine is very popular with DC Comics, especially their animated universe. My goodness.
Well, I like it's like he's the same dude from the New 52 animated universe, and he's technically the same guy from the CW universe.
Yeah.
Same voice actor. It's just like this guy is locked in for DC. I'm telling you.
I thought that his live action show was quality stuff.
He looks like him. He has the part. He's got the Robert Downey Jr. effect, where it's like you're definitely one of those guys that I picture in my head. Now. Like no offense to Keanu Reeves, but this
well,
guy.
To me, I wish I could think of his name. I know I'll pop his picture up, but Matt Ryan, I think that's his name. Yeah. He just has the right. Well, both look and sound. Whereas Keanu, he's very Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
And I'm not anti that. I like Keanu Reeves, just not necessarily for John Constantine.
Keanu Reeves is too reserved and wholesome. We need somebody a bit more sporadic.
Oh my god! And Matt Ryan is so good at feeling chaotic in his presentation, like top notch at that. Just like I said, he just brings an element of chaos to it all, and I like that about his characteristics. But yeah, like I said, the primary characters we follow are Kara Zor-El and the Monitor, generally together, although occasionally separate, and Psycho Pirate and a Jensen Ackles Batman. But it's weird, and I don't even like that I'm about to say it, but it's weird to me that I found the villain perspective so engaging.
Oh, yes.
Because, like, the minute Psycho Pirate's doing his voiceover work, I'm like, I know you're the bad guy. Like, I knew he was the bad guy when I saw him pop up in the prior film. But the second he starts talking and explaining his mindset, I'm like, well, I know you're the bad guy, but man, you're real good at getting my attention. And so, I don't know, that's just something I find valuable when you can be explaining to me something fairly mundane, especially when it comes to, like, schoolyard
shenanigans, and yet I think that what you're saying is quality.
I will say, because we kind of were introduced with him, like he got a lot of the meat at the beginning of the story. It sounded like it was kind of like a therapy session, and then when he kind of gets the gift that Dr. Fate gives him, but then you're just like, oh wait, because it cuts to like sometimes it'll cut to like the monitor.
Oh yeah.
Zor-El. And then it's just like, oh, there's something out there in the distance, blah blah blah, and then it just kind of brings you back to, crap, this isn't linear again.
I do agree. I do agree that is challenging, because there were times when I would think, oh, is this Kara? And then I'm like, no, okay, this is Harbinger, but is Harbinger Kara? I'm like, I'm a little lost here with who precisely I'm following at this moment. And so yeah, you are right in that regard.
It's hard to establish because her journey has some of the farthest like goalposts. Like, she went from being stuck in that rocket for so many years, and the Phantom, the Monitor actually finding her. But then she journeys off. But then she goes to the 31st century with her Legion of Doom friends, and then suddenly she's back here. But then she had time to be the Harbinger, so it's just like it makes sense if you pay attention. It's just you have to pay attention.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's not one of those things where you just kind of like it's not Batman Mystery of the Batwoman, where it's just like, oh, blah, blah, blah. There's
no real mystery.
But yeah, it's just a low effort, which is good, but, just a popcorn flick animated movie. But this is like, all right, like, I got to remember, because jump back in time.
It's funny, so I don't think of Mystery of the Batwoman immediately when I think of requires little thought. When I say that, I'm not trying to disparage the movie I'm about to bring up, because I actually think it's good stuff, but it's Superman, Batman, Public Enemy.
Oh yes,
that movie requires no, and again, this is not an insult. It requires no analytical thinking. It is all straightforward. Luthor's president, and of course he makes Superman and Batman Public Enemy #1. Like everything's just clear and concise. And when you make something look like Ed McGuinness's art,
yes.
I mean, I'm in it. I'm with it. Like that dude. I don't know if you're a fan, but I can see his body style with how I asked for you to do BC Brute's body style.
No, I've always liked that movie, especially when Captain Marvel, Shazam, whatever you want, when he shows up, because I think some of the character models in his art style work better in comics than
absolutely.
But the way the Captain Marvel was drawn, just they got his cape the perfect length. They got the squintiness of the eyes, like he looks like a younger, more brawlicked up version of Superman.
Yeah.
That's always who I imagine. Like that's why I imagine like the quintessential like Shazam character. I'm like, man, that was the one.
It's funny. So this is before Zachary Levi got cast as Shazam the character, but I kept seeing people put John Cena in the suit.
Yes.
But it's just because he's got the right build for it.
The same chin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, there is something to be said about Captain Marvel's stature. Yeah.
Plus the toy man that have Superman, have Batman, giant robot, whatever.
Oh yeah.
This is like, all right,
come on,
that's a good time.
Yeah, and honestly, it's things like that which made this part of the channel exist, the animation celebration concept, because up until recently, I didn't go out of my way to watch things that I didn't think that I was going to enjoy. I would primarily watch things that I already knew that I liked or had a strong feeling I would. But because the channel exists and I don't want to just be called a shill or whatever, I watch things in a broad range, whether it be the WWE Studio Slam films, where me and Josiah almost always know that there's going to be something bad we can say about it, whether it be the lack of budget or the lack of talent. But again, in this case, I very easily could have seen myself stop watching Crisis Part 1 because of how jarring it was, and I certainly could have seen myself not putting on Part 2 because I was dissatisfied with Part 1. But due to the channel existing, and thankfully you wanting to come talk about it, I did go all the way with watching part 2, and I'm actually quite satisfied that I did. Because, again, like I teased in the beginning, maybe it's because of my being eased into how they're presenting it, but I actually came away with this viewing more pleased than I was with the first, and I gave it, a fine 3 out of 5. I think it's because I was prepared, which, is cool, but I also, while I didn't love the Bat Family stuff, because I want my Bruce to love his family, and this particular Bruce is very dismissive of all of them. I do feel like we're going to get his accepting of all of them in some sort of way in the climax, or part 3, I mean. Have you watched part 3? Because I haven't yet.
No, I have not watched part 3.
Okay, cool. I know that, so there was a life event that led to this being postponed, so I thought there was a chance you may have jumped ahead.
No, I haven't watched part 3 yet.
Cool.
There was something I wanted to mention with the Bat Family, and I'll bring up, the hate virus kind of, the Psycho Pirates whole shtick and everything like that. The build-up just seems like it's kind of being forced. Like, yeah, I understand Batman didn't like the concept of it, like this Batman is staunchly like, I'm not bringing kids into this and everything like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, he told, it was Barry, I think it was, that, why would I want to raise a kid in this life that I live?
Exactly. My thing is, though, where are they going with this? Because we only got one more movie in, and they established the moment between Bruce and Helena in the first movie, I think, where it's just like, oh, well, you were my dad, but you're not my dad, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just like, where is this finally going now? Because especially where it leaves off and, like, the heat vibes and everything, like, where is he going? Or the thing is, like Blue Beetle.
Yep.
Are you going to do something with him? Because it's like he's getting really close to the truth, especially, when he kind of rolls up on Psycho Pirate. And then, certain things happen. But it's just like, they're doing certain things where it's just like, you're spending a lot of time on things that are low energy and that are kind of just like, but then you throw these little, you spend a lot of time on these little insignificant nuggets, like you're hinting at something.
Yep.
And then boom, you never see that character again in the rest of the movie. It's just like,
and so,
what is that for?
Yeah, obviously, I don't precisely know. I have suspicions, which is that it will either suspicions or possibly just hope that it will all come out to mean something.
Okay.
So probably me hoping that it'll just mean something.
It's just the pacing, the people that they choose to cut to, and just the jumping of the timelines. It's really just like there's just a jumble of things going on, and I can't really pick apart what is actually going to mean something and what is just a quick gag.
Yeah.
Because it could be like Blue Beetle. He's a goofy character, so whatever happens to him when you see the movie, that could just be a gag. But at the same time, it's like, Blue Beetle has been mentioned a few times too, and then like I do like the hinting of Dr. Light and Mr. Terrific.
Yeah.
It's Michael. And it's just like, oh yeah, it's Michael, huh? Dr. Hoshi. All right, got you.
Yeah.
So like certain things like that was just a fun little thing.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah, I like Mr. Terrific, and I really like DC's foray into pretending that they can do Fantastic Four better than Marvel.
Can we talk about the Terrifics?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So, what is her name? The girl that she can't turn fully tangible.
Phantom Girl.
Phantom Girl. All right. So, question: is this technically the same Phantom Girl in?
I do believe so.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
I believe
okay.
she's the same from the Legion of Superheroes. Yes.
Okay. I just had to get that. But like, the Simon Stagg, the Metamorpho. I've always loved those set of characters because of the Justice League episode that focused on Metamorpho and John Stewart's relationship.
Yes.
But then the combination of him and Plastic Man. Oh my God, I love those two so much.
Oh yeah.
Every time Metamorpho passes the Phantom Girl, it's like, oh, sorry. Like he just feels so bad, and he has like a really like upfront and like noble, but like kind of goofy personality. And then Plastic Man, like I remember, I think it was the first issue that I read through that you gave me. He forms a slingshot, and his Metamorpho turns into a ball.
Oh yeah.
It just goes, ooh, and I'm just like, this.
Yeah.
This is my jam.
I think that there's a chance. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but I think there's a chance that if James Gunn's Superman does well next year, 2025, and then subsequently Supergirl, I think it's Girl of Tomorrow or something. I forget what the subtitle of that movie is, but I could totally see, especially with Tomorrow being in the title, if she goes and has a storyline with the Legion of Superheroes, boom, Phantom Girl comes back to the present. We already got Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho in.
Hawkgirl too, yeah.
Oh, exactly. So we've got 2 up, and then a Phantom Girl comes to the present. We got 3/4 of the Terrifics. All we would need is Plastic Man, and I think that Plastic Man is a very of the now character for DC, and why I say that is Deadpool is top in the theaters upon a recording, and James Gunn loves humor, and since he is I don't know if patriarch is the correct title, but he's the captain of the DC ship right now.
Yeah.
Bring in somebody. Like there was a period of time where I thought it could be Andy Samberg, but I'm not sure if he's aged out of the role. But regardless, somebody who's good at comedy, cast as Plastic Man, and like I think Terrifics could be a very fun one-time movie. I don't think it necessarily needs to be a franchise. Yeah,
but just one or 2 movies at most. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think there's a precedence for it too. You know, with this new Pedro Pascal, and Mr. Fantastic. It's like, all right, they're already playing with the idea of a stretchy guy on film.
Yep.
Even if DC doesn't come out with it at the exact same time, it's kind of like James Gunn has to just kind of like sit back and see how Marvel does it, and then any tweaks afterward. Just
well, and here's another option, if you will. So, the actor who was cast as Mr. Terrific, and the actor who was cast as Metamorpho, I've seen both of them appear in TV shows. So, if you wanted to do the Terrifics as an HBO Max
that would be good.
maxi series, kind of like the Penguin mob show, which is a spinoff from The Batman, then you could easily spin these characters off and put them on Max. That way it's not competing directly with Fantastic Four in the box office, but, play off of the...
I will say, if it has more of the tone of the comics, I totally see it as something that can coexist with, like, Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
If they lean into how it is, what I'm reading so far, it's perfect for a Peacemaker crossover. I mean, technically... like I said,
the show?
No, I have not finished the show. I'm at the point now where robot dudes beat up Eagly.
Okay.
They're getting jumped by those. There's a whole lot.
Do you mind if I say something that?
Yeah.
How do you? Let me pose it as a question. That'll be the important thing. How do you view the concept of spoilers? Because there's a thing that I want to talk about that happens in the final episode of Peacemaker, but if you think that it will hinder your enjoyment, I'll not bring it up.
I want to say, just hold off on it.
Okay.
It took me a while to get into this show. I'm enjoying it. I just gotta really.
You need to meet my friend Josiah.
Oh, really? Is he the guy?
Oh, he loves it.
He loves it.
He thinks it's amazing.
Because at first, I won't lie. The first half of the season,
I hated it.
It totally came off as the original Suicide Squad movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, this is just edginess. Vigilante, funny as shit. Peacemaker's dad, funny as shit. I'm not gonna lie. But just the rest of it, how it played out, I was just like, all right, what are we doing here? And then they started getting really into it, and then Eagly. I don't know how they made
Eagly is my favorite.
Such a riveting main
character. If this show was called Eagly, I may have liked it better.
He's his own character.
Yeah.
I swear to God,
it's true.
It's so
it's
funny.
True.
But no. I would like that nugget of knowledge to be kept.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll keep it to myself. But yeah, so what is your final grade for Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2?
Last one, I think I rated it 3.
Yeah, you gave it a 3 out of 5.
I like some of the set pieces and the action a lot more, and plus it's not Flash
exclusive. Yeah.
So I got a lot of variety of things. Psycho Pirate's whole Psych Eval episode. That's what I call it. He's just Dr. Fate is giving you therapy right now.
I think that's totally an acceptable way of putting it. Yeah, it's like,
but like the set piece with Aquaman on the sub, that was a really good one. Just overall, I thought this movie offered a lot more in terms of animation and look. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
That's awesome.
Straight up.
Yeah, I hope that this trend continues, and when we get to the finish, when we get to part 3, I hope that I'm at a 4 or above, just like that you are with this.
My only thing is like, now's the time. It's like, all right, you guys got to start funneling things in and like making the timeline linear. Like this jumping around, like.
Yeah, I think that the final film ought to be more straightforward. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, thank you.
Of course.
Appreciate everything. Come back all week for more content.